Hi, Team Rerun. Coach Alexa here for Reading, South Oxfordshire and online. I've been chatting to a couple of runners actually over the last couple of weeks about fueling for longer runs, marathon training, ultra training, and both of them have similar to me, stomachs that can get a little pernickety about what they fancy eating, particularly later on in a long run. So I've been talking with both of them about a little philosophy that I've had in mind for myself and a lot of the runners that I work with over the years, which is to think about lots of different continuums of food, of how you can take on energy and which works for you, and also mixing up within what works for you across these continuums throughout runs, giving yourself a choice and trying different things and using different things. So what do I mean by this? The first continuum is liquid through to solid food. So an example of this might be, a sort of sports product, a nutrition product manufacturer, and they might have a drink version, and then they might go through to, the fairly solid sort of blocks or chews version. Now, effectively, broadly speaking, it's exactly the same stuff in all of these, just with more water in it or less water in it. So for somebody like myself, I really don't tend to get on with sports drinks. I much prefer the taste of pure water. Everybody's different. So for me, I would stay to the more kind of solid block and chew end. Even within gels these days, there are different consistencies. So, you get aqua gels, which are a lot more kind of watery, and then you can get the sort of thicky, gloopier gels, and then, so the blocks that are a little bit more like jelly cubes. So thinking about that solid to liquid scale. The next scale or continuum is sweet to savoury. So, we tend to have a lot of sport products at the really quite sweet end of the spectrum, because purely from a muscle cell point of view, the most important thing is the quickest form of carbohydrate to metabolise, and that is sugar. But we can get carbohydrates, obviously, that are all the way through to the savoury end of the spectrum as well. Potatoes, pasta, rice are all carbohydrates. A charity group that I'm working with at the moment has a runner that is fueling all her long runs with vegetarian sushi, just because it's predominantly nice rice based, and the rice is really sticky, so it sticks together into little bite-sized chunks. Brilliant. If it works for you and you're looking forward to eating it, why not? So, a lot of people, one of my runners included that I was talking to earlier this week, struggle with that amount of sweet stuff. They just don't like it, particularly on longer runs, particularly on hot days for me as well. I go off sweet food when the weather's warmer, but you've got this spectrum of carbohydrates that can go from the really sweet to the savoury. And then the other continuum or spectrum, I think, is mouthfeel. So, there's some people don't like the thicker gels. I, rather controversially for an endurance athlete, hate bananas because they kind of go around. I just don't like the way they feel when you start eating them, each to their own. So you can go from sort of a mouthfeel of like gooey stickiness, I guess right the way through to really crunchy things, right? So you can have lots of different textures, I guess is what I'm saying, in the food that you're eating. And again, that's maybe something to experiment with. I love something with a bit of a crunch to it. So I can eat dried banana chips, absolutely. I don't really mind, even just going about my day, I don't like bananas these days, but definitely not when trying to run at the same time. That sort of mouthfeel is just a bit ook. So think about your run fueling from lots of different perspectives, and particularly if you're ultra training, think about how you can have a few different choices that maybe taste a little bit different, feel a little bit different, or a little bit of a different experience to take on board. And then if you get kind of bored of one type of, a liquid that's sweet, then you've got a choice of maybe something that's more savoury or something that's a bit crunchy or just something that's a bit different to give you a bit of variety and make it more tempting. If you've gone off the sweet stuff, it's good to have other options to take on board. So I hope that's useful. Get experimenting with your food. It's fun. Happy running.